Mr. Westmoreland made a very important point. Now, I understand that you're saying, in concept, you set up this LLC by way of trying to protect the depositors, and you're working with the private sector, and they're putting in some skin, and it's supposed to work. We're not opposed to that idea. The problem is, in practice, we've seen very different things. I think you have about 150 or had loans. Some were defaulted, some were performing. And I have instance after instance after instance where cases, people who did not talk, they were not related. I shared my church, there are nonprofits, there are developers. It is across the board who have come to me and said, we cannot negotiate in good faith with Rialto because they will not work. They won't negotiate. I almost laugh to hear you say negotiate. It's like the bully on the playground coming up to the skinny kid and saying, give me your lunch. That's not negotiating. Yeah, the kid could say no, but he's going to lose his lunch and get a black eye anyway. So I feel like so where this comes to, if you were operating on your own with your own capital, you wouldn't have me here questioning it. My problem is when an agency steps in and says to a construction loan that's performing, we are not going to extend any more payment to you, and then we're going to sell the loan to a business who has over 20 years of experience and understands how to develop this and has unlimited, or very, I shouldn't say unlimited, but significant access to capital and a tremendous sweetheart loan deal, we got a problem. And so to hear you say that there is a negotiation taking place in good faith, I guess that's one thing that I would ask. Is that something you're willing to go back on? If I present to you cases, probably 80 of them, where people have not been able to negotiate, and many of them are in foreclosure at this point or have lost it all in bankruptcy. Is that something you're willing to work with us on?
Is that for me?
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Yes. Thank you for your question. We've had numerous inquiries through various members that we have responded to in writing over and over again, and of course we are always open to and willing to listen to, understand, and rethink any program or any negotiation that we have in place. The answer to your question simply is yes, of course we'll go back, and we want any concerns that people have. That's why I'm here today. Let me just say that it's very important to know that, number one, you might only be getting one side of a story. Number two, the terms and conditions of loan documents are very clear. The simplest answer is the borrower is always able to pay off their loan. At the end of the day, they're looking for a compromise, and what one person might consider responsible or reasonable, another person might say, I need to know the factual landscape. That's
fair. And in reclaiming my time, part of my concern is when someone is, by nature of home construction or commercial development, the way that the loan works is money comes in phases. So if the FDIC says, sorry, we're going to cut you off, you don't get to finish it, it makes it very difficult then when you have the new owner of a loan who comes in and says, we want it all now. I mean, you are by definition picking winners and losers, and the government shouldn't be in that business. Mr. Ed